Hello and welcome to COMTA 102. This online course is required for those of you seeking institutional accreditation from the Commission. So this would be schools that are standalone massage, bodywork, or aesthetic schools that do not have institutional accreditation with another agency. There are additional standards 11 through 15 that are required just for those schools. So this module will cover Standard 11, which is Institutional Management and Administration. The purpose of this standard is that to be institutionally accredited, the Commission must evaluate the effectiveness of the administration in managing the school itself. So this includes maintaining program integrity and compliance with government as well as accreditation regulations. There are 5 parts to this standard, the management standard. The first is government compliance, then management policies and procedures, human resources, employment policies, and finally institutional facilities. So let's look at Standard 11A, government compliance. So essentially this standard covers 3 different areas and must provide evidence of this, and it's licensed by the state, that you're maintaining the license and regulations by the state, maintaining compliance with all accreditation standards, policies, and procedures. So that would be from COMTA. And then also meet any other local, state, federal regulations. That could be Title IV, city zoning restrictions, business permits, as well as state licensing or state education agency regulations. And just a note here that this standard, to remind you that any expansions in your programs that you offered must be approved by the Commission prior to offering. That's in the Policy and Procedure Manual, but it is covered under Standard 11 in case that is an issue. So Standard 11B, Management Policies and Procedures. So key components of this standard include, and this is going to be an overview, so there's obviously more details in the standards that will be included in the lessons. But an overview is that the key components, the Commission seeks to ensure that its institutions have a qualified and adequately staffed management team. So those are the people overseeing the school. This could be one person, or it could be 100 people, depending on the size and scope of the institution itself. The institution should develop, publish, and follow internal policies and procedures for each department. There should be regular and effective communication between management and staff. And regular review and planning. So in other words, strategic planning has been included into this. What is the management doing to measure and ensure the success of the organization? What are the long-term and short-term goals? Standard 11C, human resources. So this part of the standard covers the staff, whereas 11B was more the management team. Again, depending on the institution would be how large that is and to whom that would cover. Key components include that you hire staff with appropriate training and experience, and there's evidence of that. That the staff be fully aware of job expectations and performance levels. And the staff receive orientation, supervision, ongoing training, and routine evaluation. Now again, note that there should be evidence that so the staff files should include documentation that these things are occurring on a regular basis. And also note that this is for non-teaching staff. So the instructional staff is covered under Standard 3. This is for anyone hired to as a receptionist or bookkeepers, admissions representatives, that kind of thing. And there is a new language added to the 2015 standard which says that reasonable measures to ensure the continuity of staff knowledge should be taken. So this doesn't prohibit turnover, obviously, that is sometimes inevitable, but essentially what is being done to maintain the continuity and program integrity if there is turnover in staff. Standard 11D covers employment policies. There are 3 different policies included in this standard: non-discrimination, sexual harassment, and the grievance policy. Now these may look familiar to you, but these are different than these student policies. So in addition to student policies being published in the student catalog, these cover your employees. Again, that might be one employee or it could be 100 employees. So let's look at each one of them. So there should be a non-discrimination clause, and it should be published in the employee manual, not just the student catalog, because it needs to cover and protect the employees. Should be, again, separate from the students. And the commission clause does include protection for race, gender, which is the now preferred term instead of sex, religion, nationality, age, disability, and sexual orientation. If your local legal non-discrimination clause is different than that, you would need to either go above and beyond it with this particular definition or provide evidence explaining how it's different or why it's different. So the sexual harassment policy, again, should be published in the employee manual, meaning it's separate from the students one in the catalog, although more than likely it will be the same. There's a lot of legal language that is often used, and so therefore it needs to be compliant with any government regulation, the legal definition of sexual harassment included, that kind of thing. A grievance policy, again, this is for your staff. So this is published in the employee manual. It should be separate from the students, as we mentioned before, and records should be kept if formal grievances or complaints are lodged. And finally, Standard 11E covers the institutional facilities. And by the way, this picture is from an actual COMTA accredited school. It's their reception area. This covers non-instructional. So this means administrative offices, common areas, lobbies, restrooms, student lounges, the library. Classrooms, clinic are covered in Standard 4 because that applies to both programmatic and institutional accreditation. But if you are institutionally accredited, the commission will look a little further at the rest of the building facilities. And there's certain language covered in the standard. It must be safe, these areas accessible, clean, well lit, suitably furnished, and adequate to serve the purpose, as well as evidence that it's in compliance with all regulation. So that would be any fire inspections, local building codes, that kind of thing. If student housing is also offered, that obviously must also meet local regulations, and there must be evidence of such. So that's an overview of Standard 11. We will now go ahead and look at the course details for more information. If this video has generated some questions, hopefully you've noted those, and they will be answered in the course. Thank you very much.